Welcome back. My name's Anthony Morrissey, the CEO and founder of AMSC. I hope you had a lovely Christmas and you're looking into 2024, whether it was successful on the field or off the field, or in my perspective, whether it was good to you in the hospitality suites, in the executive boxes, or anywhere else you potentially were selling hospitality over this Christmas season. I hope you had a very good time. Delighted you can join me. Just to give you an outline of who I am, I worked for over 11 years for Munster Rugby before setting up AMSC. And AMSC is a sports consultancy company that I feel can help brands, clubs and federations grow through either hospitality, global events, or any other commercial entities that they possibly can think of. This video is going to be a short little video into outline of where I see where everybody is in the season. So I'm taking a perspective that a normal season in sport, especially in Europe, would be from September till May. So this video is to look at people to try and see what they're going to do in the second half of that season. Because a lot of people, what they will do is they'll do a review at the end of the year and they'll do a review at the start of the year and get prepared. And they never kind of do one in the middle. And I would recommend regularly to teams to look at it as a second half of the season. In the same way that the team on the field or a team in the court or anything like that will do, this is that opportunity for you to go and do that. So let's take hospitality for a minute and let's have a look and see what you're doing and see where your progression is going to be. So the first thing you need to look at is a review of the first half yourself with your team. So what worked? Did the food work? Was the offering the way you thought it was going to go? Did the people take up the offering that you thought it was going to be? For example, was there a scenario where you thought this guest speaker was going to be amazing and everyone's going to jump up and down, yet and all, when you found within 5 minutes there was people talking in different corners of the room? What did the room optics look like? Was it what you expected in the review at the start of the year or at the end of last season? And how did that grow into what you're looking to do? Get that internally done first before you start talking to anybody else. Because what you want to get is you want to get loyalty and an agreement with your staff so that they understand exactly where you're moving forward and they feel part of that process rather than you being out there on a limb on your own and making that decision for them in essence. The next one. Then after you've got your review yourself, let's look at customer feedback and see exactly what did the customer think. Again, don't wait till the end of the year to do this. Do this during the season. And don't necessarily do it by email. You can if you've got a lot of customers, but pick up the phone. Even if it's just the 10 of your top customers, make sure you pick up that phone and have that conversation with them one-to-one. Because what you want to get is you want to get them feeling that you're not doing it to try and trick them. You're actually wanting their advice and get their feedback. You want their buy-in to the product going forward. It's really important for you to do that. What speakers worked, what the visit was feeling like, what the rooms was like, what the ticket allocation was like, what did it feel like? Is it compared to last year? Is it better? Is it worse? How would you take it forward before the end of the year? That's really important for you to look at and do. The next one, once you've got your own feedback, once you've got your customer feedback, then look at your internal stakeholders' feedback. Because now you can approach them with two different things. So by internal stakeholders, I'm talking about your sponsorship manager, your commercial director, your CEO, if necessary, your COO, your head of finance, all those people put in together. And you're getting those internal stakeholders' feedback. And you're bringing with you an army of information from your staff, your own team, and information from your customers. And now you're approaching them and get their feedback as to what it was. How did they feel it worked? What worked for them? What didn't work for them? You may turn around to me and say, well, we do this after every single game. Why are we doing it now? Because sometimes you get recency bias. And by recency bias, I mean you get the information that's given to you straight away. Oh, it was fantastic because they won the game, or it was fantastic because the speaker worked. If you do it in the middle of the season, you're getting 6-7 games, depending on what your season looks like, and you're getting a total look at and a total view going right back, rather than just the most recent game and recent information. That allows you to move forward. That allows you to have a conversation with your stakeholders. You know, had a conversation with your team, and you've had a conversation with your customers. You take all those reviews into one thing, and you get that globally done. And now you're looking at reviewing your targets for the second year. Now it's a conversation that you're having an honest conversation with your head of finance, or having an honest conversation with your head of commercial, and that whole internal team to make sure you feel you're on point. Now, I don't mean that to be a negative one, because you may be in a situation where you're way ahead of where you thought the target was going to be. Well, if that's the case, don't sit on your hands. Don't sit there and go, well, I've done my job. Let's go. We're going to, whatever happens at the end of the season, I've hit my target. No, turn around to your finance team and go, I want you to raise that target. And the commission impact, if that's a commission-based scenario you get, if it's even better. But if not, you're telling your finance team that there's opportunities to get further into what it looks like. And that's an opportunity that's there. A lot of salespeople will look at it and go, oh, I don't like that. I like my target where it is. If it's the other way around and you're not necessarily hit your target yet, you need to turn around to your commercial or to your finance team and your commercial director and explain why. Explain what your thoughts are when you originally did it and how that may have changed. And how you've used your review from this game now, or from the last few games now, to now develop going forward, creating that different target. They're probably not going to take the target down, just a heads up for you. But if they do, at least they understand where it's going. And more importantly, they're not going to be shocked at the end of the season. It may not be a comfortable call, may not be a comfortable conversation, but it's a very, very important one for you to have right now. Next, customer retention list. And this is one that I find very interesting because especially with sports teams, you'll get phone calls because the passion of fans getting involved. And sometimes you forget about the drop-off hits. So let's say you've got a drop-off hit of 20%. What do I mean by a drop-off hit? I mean people who've come last year or the year before and haven't returned yet. What you need to do is you need to make sure you find out why that is. Now, am I expecting you to spend hours and hours ringing these people to make sure you know what it is? Not necessarily. This would be an email conversation that needs to happen. Or it may be a conversation where you make one phone call, maybe two, just to see what they're like and see what their thoughts are. Because what you want to find out is why they aren't coming back. Is it because they didn't like the product last term? Is it because of a financial issue? Or is there a commercial entity issue that you need to look at that really needs to develop this in? That retention list is really important to do because that retention list can be the reason why you're not hitting your target, or because your retention list is so low, it's why you are hitting your target. And then a conversation needs to be had at the end of the season about whether your pricing is right. Focus on what you can change. So you've got all this feedback back. You've got some really, really good ideas from people, some fantastic ideas from your team, some fantastic ideas from your staff, or from your internal stakeholders and from your customers. But there's only so much things you can do and change at this moment in time. So a lot of these products have been put in place for the whole season. So you've already committed to what actually is going to look like. So only focus and change on the little tweaky bits. So what guest speaker worked? Can I review that again for the next game? What corporate gift worked? Can I review that again? Is the match program a necessity? Is it not? What about the ticket locations? Can I have a talk to my ticketing department and see if we can move some tickets around? Can we have a conversation about the timing of what it looks like for the food and the caterers? Is that whole process something you're going to actually go and do and feel and get part of? What's the actual viewing of what that looks like? Only focus on what you can change. Because if you focus on everything else, you'll get lost in the weeds and suddenly you're 2 weeks down the road and you're closer to another game and you haven't sold anything because you spent all your time doing this review. And the last one, I think this might sound simple and easy, but enjoy it. I mean, sports commercialization, working in a stadium, working with a club, usually you're a franchise that you love. You've got to go and enjoy it. It's got to be something that makes fun to you. It's got to make sense to you, because if you don't, then you got to ask yourself, what are you there for in the first place? It's a really, really cool environment when it's done well. It's a really cool environment when there's support all around you. And if there's not, you got to find a way to find that, make that happen and make that work. It is a cool place to work, sport. It's a lot of people really, really enjoy. And sometimes when you're in the middle of it, you may not feel that until you go outside. But trust me, as someone who no longer works directly with the stadiums, it is something I massively miss. There's something magical about match days. And that's something I would recommend to everyone to have a look at. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little tidbits of what I was talking about. I hope it made sense to everybody as to what I was looking to do. I said it was only going to be 3 or 4 minutes. It ended up being 8 minutes because, you know me, I like to talk. But I hope it worked for you. If you want to have more information about how I can help you and how I can be brought in to give you assistance on breaking all those things down and reviewing your club and your brand and your hospitality product, by all means, get in touch with me. My details are down the bottom, and it's also down the bottom of this video. AMSC.se is my website. Anthony.morrissey@amsc.se. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your new year. Have a great shot into the weekend when it comes to the games coming back. Fantastic opportunities for everybody. Have a great day. My music's going to kick me out, I'm pretty sure. Look after yourself. Have a great day.